ESPN is the one to see. Call 38723.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Thursday. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. We're working towards the weekend. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and plenty to do here over the next couple of hours. Joe Gaither from Bama Central going to be here in 15 minutes talking Tide. There's more news with the LSU athletic director situation. Basketball started off last night with the record-setting night as of the last hour. You're going, what? As of the last hour? They played like a lot of hours ago. Yeah, been a stat adjustment. LSU set a field goal percentage record last night. We'll talk about it at the end of the hour. Chris Blair with us in an hour and 15 minutes talking football and a little bit of basketball. And Luke Johnson, bottom of hour 2. Saints and Panthers this weekend. We'll get Luke's thoughts on all of that. So as you can see, plenty to do. Let's crank it up. Our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's opening drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
I'm going to do something they taught me in journalism school not to do. They were very clear. I learned it. I'm just not paying attention. The biggest story revolving around LSU right now is the drama with the athletic director. That's the biggest story. It's what I should lead with. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lead the show with it. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't like that stuff. I didn't like it last week. I don't like it this week. I like sports. I don't like a bunch of nonsense. And while it is vitally important to the future of Louisiana State University athletics, and it is far, far more impactful than what goes on the field in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, I choose not to start with that. We will get to it. I choose not to start with it. It is LSU freaking Bama week, and I'm starting the show today, 2 days before the game, with LSU and Bama. So I hope y'all will forgive me. I hope my professors back at LSU will forgive me and understand. We're moving on with a little bit of football right now, 1 o'clock on a Thursday. So let's talk about it, because we haven't done very much of talking about LSU and Bama. And this is a game that, just if we're going to get out in front of this, I feel like Bama's a better team. I do. I probably didn't feel that way on September the 4th after LSU had gone to Clemson and played fantastic defense and gotten out of there with the road win, and Bama got annihilated by Florida State, who we now know stinks. I probably thought LSU's one of the best teams in the country. Bama's in big trouble. I don't feel that way today. We've got more data. We're 7 weeks down the road. Bama's a better team. Their quarterback's playing way better. Their wide receivers are playing way better. Their defense has been opportunistic. They're doing things to win close games. They're right now one of the best teams in the country, and LSU is a rudderless ship with no head coach. But LSU still has some good players, and Bama is far from infallible. South Carolina is bad. South Carolina played Bama tight a couple of weeks ago. So I do hold out hope that LSU can go to Bryant-Denny and compete in the game on Saturday. But for LSU to win the game on Saturday, if that's going to happen, they're going to have to win in the margins. I don't think they're going to go to Tuscaloosa and control 4 quarters of football. Now, we saw a week and a half ago what some of those margins look like. Red zone interception that LSU got against Texas A&M. Blocked punt that LSU got against Texas A&M. Late in the first half interception that set up a scoring opportunity. These are not things that you can count on. They're not things that happen play to play, like being more physical in the offensive front or having an elite pass rush that holds up for 4 quarters or a dominating ground game or a quarterback who is just the best player on the field. Like, these things you can count on for 4 quarters. When I talk about the margins, I mean small things that can become big things when you execute and handle them. And the biggest thing is turnovers, and I'm not going to call that a key to this game. Turnovers are very hard to predict. Fumbles can be fluky. Tipped balls can be fluky. Slipping wide receivers can be fluky. I mean, guys that get interceptions, like that's a good play on the ball oftentimes, but it's not something you can really count on. So, no, the margins I'm talking about are not necessarily turnovers. It's another cliche, but it's one that I look at the numbers, I look at the teams, and I think this could really matter if LSU can win this little margin. And it's something Bama's been very good at. It's something LSU's been very bad at. It's scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Yes, this is a cliche, but hear me out. I believe that Alabama is going to move the football in this game. I've lost the confidence in LSU's defense to dominate. They've played too many good offenses and come up too short for me to suggest that's going to flip on a dime this week. Ty Simpson's going to hit Ryan Williams. He's going to hit Jeremy Bernard. They're going to do some work on the ground running the football. Like, they've done that. They're efficient. They've been good on offense. But what about when they get in the red zone? Can LSU at that point stiffen? That would be a new thing for this LSU defense of late. When you look at what we've seen from this LSU defense in the last 2 games that LSU has played, Vanderbilt got into the red zone, and LSU did not have an answer. In that game, Vanderbilt had 4 red zone tries and scored 3 touchdowns. Do you know what the one drive they didn't score a touchdown was? Diego Pavia took a knee at the 2-yard line. He could have walked into the end zone. It was at the end of the game. So basically, Vanderbilt scored 4 touchdowns in 4 tries, basically. The stat sheet wouldn't say that. I say that. They've scored 4 times in 4 tries. The following game, LSU played Texas A&M. A&M got into the red zone 5 times. A.J. Halsey had 1 interception. Good coverage, good call, good play on a Marcel Reed throw. The other 4, touchdowns. So basically, in 9 offensive red zone drives the last 2 games for LSU's defense, they've allowed 8 touchdowns in 9 drives. You cannot win playing like that in the red zone. You can't do it. You have to find a way to get stops in the red zone. Now, I will tell you this. Alabama doesn't run the ball statistically as well as Vanderbilt and certainly Texas A&M. Alabama's offense is built around throwing the ball. Ty Simpson is second in the SEC in passing, and they do a great job when they get into the red zone of throwing the football efficiently for touchdowns. LSU has some good cover guys. Mansour Delane is a good cover guy. P.J. Woodland is a very good cover guy. The safeties have made some plays on the ball. We saw Deshaun Spears against Florida. We saw A.J. Halsey against Texas A&M. We know D.J. Pickett's got a lot of talent if he's in the game. So maybe because that is a strength of yours on the perimeter, LSU covers pretty well. Maybe you can have some success against this Alabama offense that you didn't have against Texas A&M and against Vanderbilt. But Alabama's good in the red zone. Look at Alabama in the red zone offensively. They're 3rd in the SEC. They're 8th in the country in red zone touchdowns. They've been in the red zone 41 times. They've scored touchdowns 32. That is 8th in the country. LSU has to be better than they've been the last 2 games in the red zone. Bama's going to move the ball. Force a field goal when they get to the 17. Force a field goal when they get to the 8. Knock the ball away on 3rd and goal from the 4 and make Kalen DeBoer send the field goal team out there. You've got to do it. On the flip side, LSU's offense, not good enough in the red zone, obviously. 29 trips to the red zone, 17 touchdowns. That is 59%. That is 14th in the SEC. It is 91st nationally. 91st in red zone touchdown percentage. That's not going to work. You cannot go to Tuscaloosa and hope to win kicking field goals. 2011 was a ball. I was there on the field in overtime. Aaron Andrews was standing right next to me. What a cool thing. Can't win kicking field goals this time around in Tuscaloosa. You got to go get touchdowns. And they're not doing it right now. Not getting touchdowns when they get in the red zone. But what is going to change this week? What do we think? We think LSU is going to run the ball more. Alabama's run defense been a little bit leaky. You look at the numbers Alabama has allowed on the ground. They've allowed teams to get going. We saw Florida State run for 230. Georgia ran for 227. Missouri ran for $163. Tennessee ran for 142. Teams have gotten the ground game going against Alabama. They're 12th in the SEC in yards per game allowed. They are 15th in the Southeastern Conference in terms of yards per carry allowed. 15th of 16 teams. You've got to get physical inside the 20. You got to go get a touchdown. We saw Harlan Berry do it against Texas A&M. It's got to happen. Bama may control some aspects of this game. They may outgain LSU here or there. But if you can hold Alabama to a couple of field goals when they get down there, not even in the red zone, but inside the 30, inside the 35, force a 50-yard field goal. Stiffen when you have to in your own territory, and then you turn around and on those same 2 drives, you can punch in a touchdown. You see how that works? This is obvious stuff, but I think the statistics amplify it. They amplify it. LSU has to win the red zone game. If you win turnovers 4-0, you'll probably win anyway. That's not something you can count on. But execution when the field shrinks is you just have to be better at it. You got to make better decisions. You got to be tougher against the run. And LSU's got to find the margins to win here, because suggesting LSU's going to go over there, as much as Frank Wilson, and I admire him saying, hey, we're going over there to pick a fight. We're going to do it with let our helmets and shoulder pads do the talking. All that's well and good. And LSU may, but I don't see LSU going in there, outgaining Alabama 390 to 260 and beating them 31-20. I don't see that. But can you keep things close by winning a little bit of a game within the game like this, and then win it in the fourth quarter? Maybe. That's a roadmap for LSU, but the stats are gonna have to flip, because the statistics say LSU's red zone defense is not good. Alabama's red zone offense is good. LSU's red zone offense is not good. That's what the stats say. You have to flip it on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. You have to. We'll learn more about this Alabama team coming up here in our next segment. Joe Gaither from Bama Central will jump aboard. Our Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. You're looking to get steaks on the grill for LSU and Bama on Saturday. Well, you need Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef to be your steaks. You're probably not going to get that for this Saturday, because you got to go up there and look at what you're going to purchase and make that purchase and get it brought back into the freezer. But you're talking about top 1% beef nationwide. Sagrera Farms. It's prime. They know it. You will love it. I promise you. We've had a freezer full since the 4th of July. We're about out at the Palmer House. It has been an absolute delight to have those ribeyes, have those fillets, have that ground beef when it's time to pull it out and put burgers on the grill on Sunday. It's been awesome for us. You need to do the same at Sagrera Farms. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. We'll step aside, chat with Joe Gaither next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is that website. Great place to hang out. Weekend's coming up. You want to hit some golf balls but don't have time to go spend 5 hours and 20 minutes on the golf course. That's generally what a round of golf can be if it's a crowded, good weekend. Not at Swing Easy Golf Club. You go in there, you got your friends, you crank that simulator up, you can finish 18 holes in an hour and 25 minutes. And it doesn't have to be course around here. You can play Pebble Beach. You can play Cypress Point. You can play TPC Sawgrass. You can play TPC Louisiana on the simulator with your buddies. They got a fridge full of cold beer, seltzers, wine. They got TV on so you can watch the football Saturday or Sunday. Hang out there on a Friday night. Awesome place to socialize, and can be a great place to entertain clients if you get a corporate membership. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're on Segan near Perkins. If you hadn't been in there and you're a golfer, go check it out. I promise you, you will be back a second time. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
LSU and Alabama apparently going to play a football game on Saturday. You'd hardly know it around here, but that is going to be the case. I'm sure the vibe's a little different in Tuscaloosa than they are in Baton Rouge at this point, so let's go there. Joe Gaither covers the Alabama Crimson Tide for Bama Central. Gives us some time here on the Jim's Farms hotline. Joe, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're okay. We're okay.
Up to your eyeballs, I imagine.
Yeah, it's been quite a week and a half here on a number of levels. Let's talk about this Alabama football team. Give me the energy level, the vibe check from Labor Day weekend after that happened in Tallahassee.
Well, I think the energy's been slowly building. I think since the opening week loss, there's been this state of apprehension that I think it's starting to shift from apprehension to a little bit of belief. And I think that belief really set in over there in Columbia when South Carolina took an 8-point lead and Alabama was able to come on back down after the offense hadn't shown up all day long, tie the game, and then get a defensive stop and go down and win the game. So I think that it was a little bit of, are we really the team we thought we were after Florida State punches them in the mouth? And each week just slowly but surely, okay, maybe we are. And then last week or 2 weeks ago, in Columbia, there's some real belief, I think, has set in with this football team.
Knowing what we know now, going to Georgia and winning 4 straight against ranked teams, I mean, clearly this is one of the better teams in the country. So how do you explain what happened against Florida State?
Oh, that's the $1 million question. My suspicion is maybe the whole team caught the flu, but no, I have no idea really. The real analytical way that I can assess it is the 16 new starters on both sides of the ball for Florida State, 2 new coordinators. And I wonder if this coaching staff had a hard time preparing or knowing exactly how to prepare, even though the Gus Malzahn offense looked exactly like we've all known the Gus Malzahn offense to look. I wonder if there was a little bit of, we don't know who's where. And after it started to snowball, I think the team was in over its head, especially offensively. You couldn't really run the ball. You haven't run the ball against Power 4 opponents really at all this season. I think you're averaging 110 yards a game for the Crimson Tide and really 70-something yards from the running backs. And that was really apparent down in Florida State. You didn't have Tim Keenan. You didn't have Jam Miller, two leaders on both sides of the ball. So I think a lot of things snowballed, a lot of newness was there, and Alabama just wasn't quite ready to perform at its peak.
You've mentioned the struggles running the football hadn't seemed to matter in wins and losses. I think a lot of that's probably due to Ty Simpson and the way that he's come on. What have you seen from the signal caller to this point in early November?
Well, Ty Simpson, I think, really is able to get Alabama into and out of the right play at the line of scrimmage, and I think that's where it all begins. He's done it, as we said, without a running game, and the pass protection's been fine. You've struggled with a little bit of speed rush through the season, but Simpson's been able to really know and anticipate, okay, here's where I'm going with the football pre-snap, and if things get hairy, I can get out of it or find my check down, and I think he's really, really been impressive for a guy who sat on the bench for so long, waited his turn, and I think he's making the most of it. Obviously, you're seeing him fly up NFL draft boards.
What's been so effective with the passing game? Why have they been able to lean on that and be so successful with it?
Well, I think it's the variety of weapons. Everybody was going into the season thinking about Ryan Williams, and he's still a quality player. But Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton have both come along, and I think you got Lazier Brooks, a true freshman out of New Jersey, who is kind of embodied a little bit of Jalen Waddle-esque. So you just got so many different options that it stretches the coverage pretty thin. You've kind of struggled getting the deep ball going. You saw that at South Carolina, 1 of 9 on deep shots. But the intermediate and short passing game has been really surgical for Ty Simpson and these receivers. So I think it's the variety of different options that stretches the pass coverage thin. And the team's really committing to, okay, you're not beating us over the top. We're not going to let Ryan Williams get the one-play touchdown. So you've got Jeremy Bernard on 10, 15-yard digs, really wide open across the middle, and the options just are too much for these college defenses.
Are they trying to run it and been unsuccessful, or are they just saying, hey, we're more of a passing offense, we're just going to do more of that?
Yeah, they're definitely trying to run it. You getting Jam Miller about 10 to 12 carries a game, and you're having really a secondary back lately. It's been Daniel Hill, but you tried it with Kevin Riley early in the year, and Richard Young got a few chances to run the ball as well as a secondary running back. You've tried to run the football, as best you can, but you don't really have very athletic offensive linemen, in my opinion. I think you're really struggling to get push up front and really struggling to get to the second level of defenses. You ran for, 145 against Vanderbilt. I think that's the season high against Power 4 opponents. 270-something against ULM, but who cares about that? You can't get to the second level, and so it's junking up the running game, and these running backs are, having to make a man miss at the line of scrimmage or, barreling into a hole that's not even there. The yards per carry is low, and I think it's a really frustrating aspect. So Ryan Grubb's really been having to use the screen game, been having to use RPO action, and been trying to use Jeremy Bernard in the running game as well. He's kind of become Alabama's de facto second/third running back, change of pace running back. You saw that especially on that final play against South Carolina. And so Grubb's been getting really creative in the running game. They are trying to run the football, but in a traditional sense with the running backs, I think it's really been a point of contention and a problem point for this Alabama offense.
Joe Gaither's our guest, covers Alabama for Bama Central. He's on Twitter at Joe Gaither6. Be there in Tuscaloosa as LSU and Alabama kick things off on Saturday night. Defensively, the numbers against the run are shocking when I see Alabama's name there and I see 106th in the country and 15th in the SEC yards per carry allowed. What have you seen with your eyes with this team stopping the run?
Well, the first couple of weeks it was, Tim Keenan's not there to play nose tackle, to play the zero tech. But I think he's really struggled at inside linebacker through the whole season. Deontay Lawson, coming back from an ACL injury, has gotten better each and every week. But it was a struggle in the early part, especially against Florida State. I think they went, 230 in the first game. So you gave up 230 to Florida State, and it's been slow improvements ever since. Vanderbilt ripped off a 60, 70-yarder on the first drive, Cedric Alexander. And so you really have given up some big plays. It's really been feast or famine for Alabama in the run defense. Either they're stopping the opposing offense for a yard, -1 yard, or they're giving up big chunk plays. Georgia ended up with 6 or 7 big chunk plays resulting in their big number. I think the run defense has gotten better, but it's the consistency factor. So that's honestly one area that I think if LSU commits to it this weekend, they might have a chance to rip off several big runs. It's just going to be a matter of, can Alabama consistently fill their gaps? And you're struggling with physicality a little bit at the corner position, so you're having teams bounce runs outside. I think that's an area that has been a pretty big annoyance for the Alabama fan base, but it has gotten better through the season.
I'll tell you this, Joe. No one has run the ball less frequently than LSU the last year and a half. They've got a change at offensive coordinator, and they've got a change at head coach. I don't know if they'll run it for 0 yards or 300 yards on Saturday. They're going to try to run it. Has that message that has been just echoing here in Baton Rouge from Frank Wilson, from the players, that, hey, we're going to run the football on Saturday night, has that gotten to Tuscaloosa? Has that been a storyline over there?
A little bit. I think the echoing or the words that are coming out of the facility are, well, they're going to be who they are. They can't change that much. And, they've got Deontay Lawson said it this week. They're the best skill position group that we've seen all year. But I look at Caden Durham and Harlan Berry, and I see some pretty solid running backs. I don't know how it's going to go up front. I know that's been a struggle for LSU, but I wonder if you just spread them out and empty the box for Alabama. Can Alabama's front 6, front 5 handle the running game of Harlan Berry and Caden Durham? I think that if LSU wants to just lean on that, if they're patient with it, shoot, it may take you 2 yards a pop, and you may be going for it on 4th down every other time, but you're going to eventually rip some big runs, and that could be an area that keeps LSU in the game, melts the clock, reduces the possession for Alabama's offense, and you may have a real game if that's something that LSU really wants to lean on.
I'll be stunned if they don't. You've got a running back coach that's now the head coach, and the new offensive coordinator has an offensive line background. I think LSU is going to run it a lot. I don't know if they'll have any success because they haven't been able to run it for 3 years, but they're going to try on Saturday. I can promise you that. What does it feel like in Tuscaloosa for LSU in Bama week? This has been a crazy time down here in the last 10 days with the governor and the head coaching change and the athletic director situation and all that's gone into that with a new president. So there's just been a lot of that. What does it feel like in Tuscaloosa this week?
It doesn't feel the same, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you guys two years ago. It doesn't really feel the same. It feels like, the LSU side's on fire, so we don't have to worry about it, at least from a fan base perspective and from kind of my listeners' perspective. But I think I think inside the building, I think the players, we talked to them on Tuesday. I think the coaches, we talked to them on Monday, and obviously the teleconference on Wednesday. I think they are respecting the uniform and respecting the talent. I mean, yes, the coaching change obviously throws a big wrench in everything, but the LSU talent, from my perspective, is still pretty talented, pretty high. So I think the inside the building factor is taking it seriously, but the buzz around the program and the buzz in the city and the buzz kind of in the fan base, I don't think is as high. I think that there's really been kind of a celebration of, our 2 of our next 4 games have interim coaches. LSU, Auburn just fired their coach. And, you're going to smack Eastern Illinois. Let's worry about Oklahoma. But I think that the players are still taking this seriously because they know that first week against Florida State is such an embarrassment. If you lose to LSU, these last 7 wins go out the window, and you put your fate in the committee's hands. And you're still looking okay, but a loss to LSU with an interim coach could really throw a wrench into the postseason plans.
Yeah, this week's kind of been a sacred spot in the calendar. I know in South Louisiana and really the same in the state of Alabama as well, and it just feels a little off this year. We'll see if they can rekindle things over the next couple of years. They'll certainly kick it off on Saturday night in Bryant-Denny. Joe Gaither will be there for Bama Central. We appreciate your time, man.
Thanks so much for having me, Hunt.
He is Joe Gaither. Follow him on Twitter at JoeGaither6. That's actually the line I used when I wrote my key matchup speech, which is on LouisianaSports.net for free right now. If you want to read a little bit about the football game, you're tired of all the drama that's gone around it. This was a sacred spot on the calendar. We thought about this week from August through now, and it's just a little bit off. And I'm confident there are some of you out there that are listening, plenty of LSU fans who are locked in. It's LSU Bama, and when this thing kicks off on Saturday, you'll have a couple of pops in the system, and you'll be fired up and ready to go. And I get that, but it's just this is usually one where it's very difficult for me as someone who's trying to plan 20 hours of radio between the time where LSU stops playing on that Saturday before the bye and then plays Alabama. It's 2 10-hour weeks. I have to try to stop at the beginning of that 20 hours from getting into LSU Bama. I didn't even think about LSU Bama last week, and we didn't do much of it on Monday either. So You can suggest that is a little bit of my fault, but I feel like we're talking about the stuff that needs to be talked about, and it's off the field, unfortunately. Y'all know me. I like on the field. I don't like off the field. I don't like talking about all the rule changes and all the different stuff and the hypotheticals and the politicians and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not my favorite thing to talk about. I want to talk about the stuff on the field. But there's things that are a little bit more important than that right now, and we're getting closer to kickoff, and everybody will put all that stuff away once they kick the ball off. But there are still some things that need to be discussed, and we'll certainly do that. Chris Blair will be here in 45 minutes. Luke Johnson, an hour from right now. So keep us rolling on a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
All right, that's 30 minutes on LSU and Alabama to start the show. We're going to do 30 more minutes at the top of hour number 2, 25 minutes from right now. Talk a little bit more on the field about my thoughts. We'll get Chris Blair's as well at 2:15. So lots more LSU Bama to come. LSU basketball in the next segment after they got a win last night. I was there in the PMAC. We'll talk Saints with Luke Johnson in 55 minutes. But we do have to touch on this. I opened the show saying I don't like this stuff, but it is news. It is relevant, and I do have thoughts on it, so we'll do it here. You're all aware at this point of what has gone on at LSU in terms of the university president, now the chancellor, which you didn't know was going to be hired, and then the athletic director position. And you're all aware that Scott Woodward was fired last week. The Board of Supervisors framed it as it was a parting of ways. I think we all realize what went on there. Vern Osbury was quickly the next day promoted to the interim athletics director and told to go hire a coach. Then, on the other side of the weekend, you saw the announcement that Wade Roos was going to be the president of the LSU systems. And the report came from here, as well as other places, that Roos made the decision later that day that Verge Osbury would be the athletic director. So the interim tag was removed. Well, then Dr. Roos is speaking in New Orleans and is asked a question and says that Verge is the acting AD, and that he, meaning Roos, could not make that decision, 8 hours after taking the job, which essentially muddied the waters and suggested, hey, like he's the AD right now, but I got to make that decision later. And obviously that creates a lot of uncertainty. Roos said that uncertainty is bad. That created uncertainty. We all understand how this goes. Now today, we reported at LouisianaSports.net via a source in the office of the LSU president that Verge Osbury is the athletic director. And there is no plan to hire a new athletic director after LSU hires a football coach. Verge is in charge of the athletic department. So we went from interim to the interim tag being removed. The term acting was used. It was unintentionally used. In fact, Verge is the AD. Reality is that Verge is the AD. The perception is that there is a lot of unrest. And oftentimes, perception becomes the reality. And what matters here is that you are in a beauty pageant. And you are competing against Penn State, and you are competing against Florida, and you are competing against Auburn, and you may be competing against Florida State. And the perception around here is probably not very good. This whole thing got kicked into action last week when Scott Woodward was let go. And I told you when Verge was named to this position, when I thought he was permanent, and now we do know that he's permanent, I said, Verge is very qualified for this job. There is no question about that. 30 years in the department, all different levels, been a part of coaching searches, played at LSU, has contacts within the state, within the boosters, has contacts with agents and coaches and people in the profession. Like, he is qualified. The process to get there was ugly from the outside. It would be impossible to suggest otherwise. And then it got worse yesterday. So how bad is that damage? I don't know. But if I pair that with the governor coming out and suggesting that we're going to structure contracts completely differently, which is fine. I don't like the buyouts either. I don't like the process. The message is not the worst thing I've ever heard. But the fact of the matter is there is a marketplace. And if you, LSU, go into that marketplace with a situation that looks unstable from the outside, no matter what it is on the inside, looks unstable from the outside, and the suggestion from the person who appoints the Board of Supervisors who fired the last athletic director is that you're going to do a different type of contract. Well, if Penn State and Florida and Auburn are going to do the same old type of contract, all of a sudden, where are you in the hiring pool? And once again, I will tell you, how the process works and where you are in the hiring pool doesn't necessarily 100% guarantee an outcome in the hiring. It's a crapshoot. but you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. And that's where I feel like LSU is today. Now, it's Verge's job and that committee's job to go out and talk to agents and talk to coaches and smooth that water and make the best deal possible. And they are certainly capable of doing that. There is time. You have a month. But this last 10 days have not been good for LSU. Does not mean the next 5 years will not be good. Does not mean the next 30 days will not be good. The last 10 days, not good. But we know now that Verge Ausberry is in charge. And candidly, you did not know that last week, and you did not know that yesterday when the president made those comments. And here's what I will say about Dr. Wade Roos and our reporting today, which I can 100% verify. 100%. This is not grapevine stuff. This is 100% stuff. Dr. Roos knows that he misspoke yesterday. And he came out, and we have a quote from his office at LouisianaSports.net that says, yep, I misphrased that. I will read you the quote verbatim, and you don't have to take a guess or take a swing. I will give you the quote that we were given at LouisianaSports.net. Dr. Roos has been consistent that he will demand excellence at LSU across every department and for every employee, and each of us will be evaluated based on our performance. That is the sentiment he intended to convey, but clearly did not communicate it well, and he's talking about yesterday. So I appreciate that. I think that is relatable, understandable, and acceptable. Say, hey, I took a question there. I said something, wasn't quite on the money. I own that. I should have handled that better. But here, this is what I meant. Here it is. Here's the situation. I respect that more than doubling down and tripling down. And y'all know the way that I feel about the way last week went with the coach's contract. I believe that was disingenuous from the start. I believe it was doubled down on and tripled down on. And I found that to be gravely disappointing from the governor's office. Gravely disappointing. Because I believe there were I hated the way that went. I hated it. I like this. Yep. Took a question, gave you an answer. Not exactly what I was looking for there. Here it is. That's relatable. I sit here for 10 hours a week and talk. And there are times where I say something and go, that didn't come out right. Or there are times where I miss a name. There are times where I misread something. It happens. On the spot, live, you're talking, it happens. And I don't have too much pride to go, you misheard that. I just go, well, yeah, screwed that one up. And that's what Dr. Roos did. And that's okay. Won't be the last time he messes up. We all do. What's important is that LSU can move forward. And right now, LSU can move forward. Last 10 days, bad. Next 30, need to be really good. And we'll see how it goes. But if you want to read more about the story, including the 2 quotes that we got at LouisianaSports.net from the LSU president's office, we have those up there for free on the site. You can read all about it there for free. No paywalls, no subscription, no article limits, no pop-up ads, just right there, LouisianaSports.net. All right, when we come back, LSU basketball set a record last night. We didn't know that when we left the PMAC, but we do now. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Rentals. If you're heading out for Thanksgiving in a few weeks, heading out for Christmas somewhere in Texas, down Gulf Coast, maybe up north to Arkansas or Missouri, and you feel like you might want to get behind the wheel of a Genesis for that and not put those miles on your car, you can do that. They've got rentals at Genesis of Baton Rouge, and it can do two things. I told you can make sure that you're not putting those miles on your current vehicle, and also could be your first time to get behind the wheel of a Genesis just to see how awesome this line of vehicles drives. You'll know this if you're on a family road trip. Every single model on the line, all of them, without exception, IHS top safety picks, all of them. So you'll know that your family is in one of the safest cars on the road when you get on that family road trip. Maybe you hadn't considered a rental for a road trip. Think about it. GV80 could be an awesome option for you and your family. It's there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're on Airline at PQ. Get on by and see them. Ask about their rental opportunities. You may decide after you get that rental that this is going to be the next vehicle for me. We'd love that. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find them online, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. If you are a business owner or someone who handles client gifts, potentially that may be going out in December, how about you invest in some Sagrera Farms and you give some of those clients, some of those customers, an incredible gift of some Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef this December. Here's the deal. If you want to do that, if that sounds like a good idea, Sean is happy to help you with that at Sagrera Farms. But you need to get that ball rolling because they want to age that beef 35, 45 days so that you can have the best product possible. So get to thinking about that. If you want to give some of those customers, some of those clients, ribeyes, fillets, chuck roasts, ground beef, flank steaks, skirt steaks, just premium, top 1% Angus beef, you got to give Sean a call and get that process started today so that it'll be ready to roll come December when it's time to give those gifts out. Give Sean a call. Here's his cell phone number, 225-719-1723. It's 719-1723. I tell you all the time, the flavor, the tenderness, the marbling on this beef is second to none. You will be blown away, and your customers, your clients will be blown away. It's a great Christmas gift idea, and Sean will help you package it all up there at the farm. Just got to give him a call and check him out today. Sagrera Farms, bringing our Thursday shows each and every week. All right, LSU kicked their men's basketball season off last night. I guess I should say tipped it off last night. Didn't necessarily kick it off. That would be a violation. Tipped it off last night with a win 96-60 over Tarleton State. In the game, thanks to a stat adjustment that was made today, not going to get into the weeds with it, but there was an alley-oop attempt that was actually called a shot that was instead a pass, and it ended up getting stolen. It took an attempt off the board for LSU, which means that LSU shot a school record from the floor, nearly 71% in the game last night. Here's the deal. Tarleton State's terrible. Terrible. LSU overwhelmed them, and I'm not going to take any season-long judgment away from that game. I'm just not. The opponent's really bad, and we saw LSU win their opener by 35 last year and play really competitive and winning basketball in November and December, and then get into the Southeastern Conference and get taken apart with a buzzsaw. So I'm not going to be overly praising of LSU for the next 6 weeks. I'm just, after what we saw last year, I can't. But I can watch, and I can make some observations, and there were some things that I really liked and some things I didn't like last night. Obviously, shooting that high percentage is great. Obviously, assisting on 13 of your first 16 makes is excellent. I thought that De'Don Thomas was great in the game. He dished out 8 assists. 2 of them early hit Max McKinnon for 3-pointers that went down. He controlled the tempo. He got into the paint. He made the passes where they needed to be made. He finished when he needed to. He was 6 of 7 from the floor. A lot of that was around the rim. I really liked the way he played, and he's very likely going to be the straw that stirs this drink for LSU offensively. But Max McKinnon led the team in scoring at the 2 guard. He was 4 of 5 from 3. He's got such a quick release. He was a great shooter at Portland last year, shot 40%. I think that's something you can hope for. I stopped short of count on, but hope for that he's a really good shooter. That would be in his DNA. And he showed the ability to get downhill and get to the rim as well. Now, that's against a really small team in Tarleton, but he showed the ability to do a little bit of that, which I absolutely liked. LSU was 8 of 18 from the 3. That's 44%. They didn't lean on it a lot, but they made shots, and a lot of that was McKinnon. But you saw Jalen Reed knock down a 3. You saw Marquel Sutton hit a couple of 3s, one from the corner. And so I liked that. I liked 76% from the line. Putting the ball in the basket, LSU did a very good job of in the game last night. Issues. 15 turnovers, way too many against Tarleton State. Now, Billy Gillespie has had a career built on really tough defense. He coached at Texas A&M. He coached at Kentucky. Coached at Texas Tech very briefly. He's a defensive coach, but it's a bad team he's got. So 15 turnovers is too many. And the offensive rebounds were a real concern early. But I'll tell you this, and this was obvious watching the game. You can look at the stat sheet and go, oh, my God. They did what? Didn't Hunt say that they don't have a starter over 6'6", and you gave up 9 offensive rebounds in the first 9 minutes of the game? Yes, that's correct. But you didn't get beat on the glass when you were on defense and they were on offense. You got beat off the dribble and in transition, and because you had to help and get out of position to contest shots at the rim, which you did successfully, you didn't have anybody to rebound on the weak side because you got beat off the dribble, and that weak side defender was helping. So it was an easy offensive rebound and a couple of tip-ins. It was a defensive issue and a pace issue as opposed to you're not blocking out, you're not putting a body on somebody, you're not big enough. All issues you could see from LSU last year. I thought it was a defensive issue, and LSU cleaned that up. You look at the second half. Let me see what the exact stats are in the second half. They only gave up 3 offensive rebounds in the second half of the game. So it wasn't a huge issue. After you got your defense cleaned up and did a better job of stopping the ball. But again, I'm not here to tell you, well, this is a way better offensive team. I'm not here to tell you, oh, man, they've got real size that can score in the middle. They had balanced scoring. They had 5 guys in double figures. None of that really matters against Tarleton State. They're awful. You've got a lot of work to do over the next 6 weeks to improve. But some of the things that I liked, big picture, Thomas looks really good in the exhibition and here. McKinnon showed some versatility. And look, Nwoku is a presence. He's a big guy inside, and he's really a presence and a problem for a team like Tarleton State that doesn't have any size inside. I was surprised that Ron Zipper did not play in the exhibition and only got in the last 2 minutes of the game last night. If you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said Ron Zipper's probably a starter on this team, and it feels like he's probably like way down the bench. Maybe there's been an issue preseason that we're not aware of, but that's a little surprising. It makes LSU really big in their lineup to have a 6'7" two-guard. But I kind of thought a 26-year-old, 4-year professional Israeli basketball player was going to be in the starting lineup, and he wasn't even in the rotation last night. So that's something we'll monitor, even against these like bad teams. LSU's going to beat a lot of these teams badly because they got a bad schedule. It turns a little bit in mid-December, and you start to play Drake and Georgia Tech and SMU and Boston College and some teams that can play with you. Tarleton State can't. So it was good. I enjoyed being in the PMAC last night. I enjoyed watching them play. They shot 71% from the floor to set a school record. That's a good start, no matter who you're playing against. But you do have to take the opponent into account, and I certainly will. They win by 36, and on to the next one. That's Monday against UNO, who went and beat TCU back over the weekend. So we'll talk about that on Monday's show. We'll take a time out for national headlines and Sports Center when we come back. LSU Bama football talk. Chris Blair in 20 minutes. It's a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, closet space is not something I've ever thought a ton about, but when you have the girlfriend who is now the wife move in, she looks around and goes, "This is a disaster." You got to know where to turn to fix that. And I didn't, because I didn't know at the time. And by the time we met David and have seen some of his unbelievable work, we were moving. So it wasn't any sense in making a change at the old house. But you don't have to move to change your closet setup. You can call David Duvall, get that consultation, and have a closet customized to your exact specifications. It starts with a questionnaire. Look at how many shoes you got and how many people are in this bedroom. And, hey, what's important to you? What's your winter clothes situation? And they'll put together a custom solution for you that will function the way you want it to and will look the way you want it to. It's David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. Get that free consultation today. It's OneBathAndClosets.com, OneBathAndClosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Former NBA player Damon Jones pleaded not guilty today to charges related to FBI gambling investigations. He's accused of providing privileged NBA information for bets and taking part in rigged poker games. Tragedy has struck the Cowboys organization. Defensive end Marshawn Nealon died this morning from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot. He was 24 years old. The Cowboys have made counseling resources available to all players, coaches, and staff. NFL Week 10 starts tonight with the Broncos hosting the Raiders. Denver's won 6 in a row and could be the team that ends the Chiefs' AFC West reign, says ESPN NFL analyst Ryan Clark.
Outside of playing the Kansas City Chiefs twice, you think about only the Packers left on their schedule. I think with where they stand at 7-2, right, and 5-4, and the difficulty of the remaining schedule, the Denver Broncos are going to be the team that win the AFC West.
New Colts cornerback Sauce Gardner, clear concussion protocol, is expected to make his Indy debut Sunday against Atlanta. Baseball, Padres hired former Major League reliever Craig Stammen as their new manager.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming on Friday. I'll tell you why a huge performance against the Bucs will put Drake May in the driver's seat for MVP. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane's studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Talk to Chris Blair in 15 minutes. Luke Johnson on the Saints coming up at the bottom of the hour. Y'all know I scroll through the old social media apps in the breaks there, and I still am a little disappointed that Mississippi State got a left-handed pitcher that throws 102 miles an hour through the draft and is on campus right now. We're not going to spend any more time talking about that today, like zero. But you'll remember his name in the spring when we get to it because his name's Jack Bauer, which is, obviously.
Sounds like he can throw real hard with that type of name.
He throws 102.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just mad about it. I don't want Mississippi State to have a left-handed pitcher that throws 102 miles an hour, but they do. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm going to try to go to Starkville for that series, by the way, coming up in the spring. We'll see if that works out. But Jack Bauer will be there if I go, and he'll probably throw 102 miles an hour, which is not what I'm looking for. All right, let's talk some football. LSU and Alabama Saturday night in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Interesting matchup in this one, to me, is one that I find to be strength on strength. We talked about this LSU and Texas A&M 2 weeks ago. We're going to talk about it again here in LSU and Alabama. It's the Alabama passing game against this LSU passing defense. And Alabama's second in the SEC in passing. They're behind Tennessee only in that statistic. Ty Simpson's touchdown-to-interception ratio is 20-1 on the season. He's the best in the country in that metric. And you look at their season thus far, and they've been very consistent throwing the ball, save maybe the Missouri game. They weren't at their best in that game, only threw it for 200 yards in that game, but did throw it for 3 touchdowns. They threw for 382 and 4 scores against Wisconsin, threw for 280 and 2 touchdowns against Georgia, really threw the ball well against Vanderbilt, 340 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then identical numbers against Tennessee and South Carolina in both games. Tennessee and South Carolina threw for 253 and 2 touchdowns. LSU, I've lost confidence in this defense. And when I say that, I don't mean I think they're bad. When I say that, I don't think they're what I thought they were a month ago. I thought this defense a month ago was as good as any defense in college football. I now don't think that's remotely true. They have gotten really, really gashed by Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. And that's just a reality. And Alabama doesn't bring the balance that some of those teams do because they don't run it all that well. They ran for 72 yards against South Carolina. They ran for 72 against Wisconsin. They ran for 87 against Florida State. They ran for 120 yards and no touchdowns against Missouri. Like, we talked to Joe Gaither in the first hour. Like, they have not done a good job of running the ball. Jam Miller has been in and out. He said their offensive line's not as athletic as you would think. Like, they're resorting in the red zone to snapping the ball to Caden Proctor and running straight ahead with a 360-pound behemoth. It's not an efficient run game, but they're good throwing it. And I do believe, though I've lost confidence in LSU's defense, that LSU's defense is still good in coverage. Mansour Delane is going to be a first-round pick at this rate. I believe he's got a chance to be an All-American. I think he has a chance to win the Jim Thorpe Award. I wouldn't bet on him, and I don't have a betting favorite there, but I think he's got a chance. He's commanded that kind of respect. But we talked about this entering the A&M game because they had Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver on the outside, and I'm like, okay, is this the team that's going to try to challenge Delane? Because we looked at the numbers. Ole Miss didn't challenge him. They went straight at Pickett at Woodland the entire day. South Carolina didn't challenge him. Like, teams had decided we're not going that direction. The numbers went from, like, Clemson threw at him a good bit, and you saw that against Florida too, and like there were some tests, and then all of a sudden it just went away. And everybody started going, we're going at Woodland, we're going at Pickett. Like, that was when Ashton Stance was playing some. We're going there. We're going at the safeties. We're going at Cooley. We're not going at 4. And I was like, okay, but none of those teams had Concepcion and Craver, who are the best tandem probably in the Southeastern Conference. What are they going to do? And let me just say it. They threw at him twice. They caught both of them, which is probably about down the middle. Like, they didn't completely avoid him. They went at him a couple times, had a little success. Now, to Delane's credit, he did force an interception. Now, it wasn't a target because he was blitzing, jumped up, knocked the ball in the air, and Harold Perkins intercepted it. But they didn't go at him a lot. What about Alabama? I don't think they're going to shy away from trying to get Ryan Williams involved. I don't think they're going to shy away from trying to get Jeremy Bernard involved. Williams is more, he's more on the name recognition and the highlight side of things. He came out last year like a house on fire. Had 170-plus yards against Georgia, the circus touchdown to put Alabama ahead late, where he made 2 guys miss in the secondary down the sideline. That's what everybody's saying. He's 17 years old, Ryan Williams. And you heard that. And he had 6 touchdowns in his first 5 college games at 17. But after that, he only had 2 touchdowns the rest of the way, and he's only got 3 this year. So he's not Julio Jones. He's not having the impact that Jeremiah Smith has at Ohio State. But he's every bit as capable. He's explosive. He's dynamic. I think Alabama's going to get him involved. Are they going to go at Delane for that? Now, Jeremy Bernard, he came to Alabama with Kalen DeBoer. He was at Washington, was behind Jalen Polk and Rome Odunze, and was a lesser-used guy on that team. Now comes to Tuscaloosa. He's in his second year. He's a senior, and he's their leading receiver in terms of catches, yards, and touchdowns. Both guys are 6'1". Neither is too physically imposing. But P.J. Woodland, to this point, has had a really good year. Like, even if you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, Woodland's coverage grade is a 72.3. He had a couple of pass breakups in the game against Texas A&M. Like, he's played well. DJ Pickett is come along. A.J. Halsey's done a really good job. This is good on good. And if Alabama's not going to run it great, which, LSU hasn't stopped the run, but a lot of that is the quarterback causing issues for LSU. Pavia certainly did. Reed certainly did. Simpson's athletic, but he's not going to do that. Do they have to lean on going at LSU's strength on defense? And can LSU hold up against that? That's a big, big key in this game. And if LSU can force some incompletions, I mean, I'm not even asking for 2 interceptions in the game. You got 5 against Florida. You got 2 against Texas A&M. You can get 2, great. But Ty Simpson's not throwing those. He's only thrown 1 all year. But if you can force some incompletions, force him to be a little bit hesitant, force him to maybe throw it away a couple times, get them behind the chains, maybe you can get some stops. I would suggest that, I mean, Georgia's got talent on the corners. I don't even have to go look it up. I know it. Georgia's got talent on the corners. But I think LSU is probably more talented on the corners than everyone else that Alabama has played. I mean, Wisconsin, Vanderbilt, Missouri. Like, Tennessee was great at corner last year, and they've got one of the best corners in the country this year, but I don't think they're better than LSU in that perspective. And so I think LSU's got a chance to hold up there. I told you at the top of the show today, I don't see a lot of matchups that favor LSU here. But you're trying to keep things close and then make a play late to win. What'd you do 3 years ago in Tiger Stadium? You kept it close. They had the Heisman winner. They were probably the better team. Bryce Young, that whole crew. But you kept it close, and Jaden Daniels made some plays. You don't have Jaden Daniels this time around. But this is a spot where I think LSU can hold up, and it's Alabama's strength, and they lean on it. And all of a sudden, if Bama doesn't run it, like they've had struggles against Florida State, struggle against Missouri sometimes, and you hold them to 110 yards, 95 yards rushing, and then they've got to go play your strength, I can sell you that bill of goods. Make a play or 2 on Simpson. Maybe you cover long enough for somebody to get back there and get a sack. Now I know I'm begging because I hadn't done a lot of that this year. But maybe. There are spots where I don't feel good at all about LSU. Like LSU offensive tackle against Bama's front, I don't feel good about it. LSU's wide receivers right now against Bama on the edge, I don't feel awesome about it. LSU's run game is what it is. I'm hopeful they can run it a little bit better against a poor Bama run defense, but am I going to hang my hat on that? I don't think LSU rushes the passer great. Like, there are places that I'm concerned about LSU, and you would suggest entering this game, oh my gosh, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Ty Simpson. I think LSU can hold their own out there. Maybe I'm proven wrong, and I'll come here and tell you. I gave you a whole diatribe in the first hour about how when you're wrong, say you're wrong. It's okay. I'll do it on Monday, I promise. But I think this is a spot where LSU can hold their own, and I'm hopeful there. We'll see. I think I wrote a matchups to watch piece on LouisianaSports.net. You can get on the front page there, and this is number 1 on that. It's Simpson, Bernard, and Williams against Delane, Woodland, and Halsey. And I think the winner of that matchup could go a long way in determining the winner of the game. We'll see. That's a look at LSU and Alabama here to kick off hour number 1. We'll continue that discussion plus a little bit of hoops. Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday shows brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Some of the best beef in the country, just outside Baton Rouge, up there in Ethel. Bring our Thursday shows each and every week. We're going to talk Luke Johnson about the Saints coming up in 15 minutes. Rico Dowdle did practice today, so Saints are going to have to deal with him. He's been running the ball all over everybody. How do they stop it? We'll chat with Luke about that coming up in our next segment. Right now, go to the phone lines, jimsfarm.net. Phone lines to be exact. Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, good enough to give us some time here on this Thursday. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, Hunt. Great, Hunt. Excited to get back to be talking football this week. That's kind of been a little bit different from a week ago. So it's been nice to kind of focus on these two teams we're going to see on Saturday.
No doubt. I know that you've got headphones on, so maybe not the best perspective, but certainly a good one. How do you feel about the environment in Bryant-Denny? I feel like the kind of consensus is that it's not among the top of the SEC. I've been in there when it's been really loud.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this before, and I know this doesn't make people happy. I think the game day experience at Alabama is top notch, and again, from the fan perspective, if you go, and I've been told that from numerous LSU fans. But intimidating, hard to operate. I mean, there are a list of stadiums that I've been to personally, and that many of our fans, LSU fans, have been to. And yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I think again, it can get difficult, but I don't really think of that as the stadium that is going to intimidate and disrupt a team. In the same way that we obviously see Tiger Stadium do that when it's fully, when it's in its peak mode. And there are several others around the country. I mean, obviously their winning percentage speaks for itself in their home field. But, yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's the most intimidating place to go.
We'll see. It sounds like, based on literally everything we're hearing, that LSU is going to make every effort to run the football in this game on Saturday. Bama struggled to stop it against a lot of teams. How do you feel about LSU's chances to get some ground game going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to see something different. I think, there were times where we have not fully committed to running, but there have been times this year where we've really struggled to have any consistency. You get a big play here, and then suddenly you got 2 or 3 run plays where you dropped a yard or 2 or 5 behind the line of scrimmage. I just think, having known Alex Atkins, having worked with him before, he's, you go back to my 2 years at, part of my 10 years at Georgia Southern, there were 2 years there where Alex Atkins and Willie Fritz were leading the country in yards per game. And it wasn't a lot of zone read. It wasn't a lot of RPOs. It was line up, blocking schemes and power running out of multiple different formations. So, I'll be interested to see how they go about it. Obviously, Coach Wilson said it. I certainly believe, knowing the personnel that now will be in charge of calling plays, that, yeah, they're going to probably go to the run. I want to see how they try to go to the run. Because, again, I just don't think without a true threat to run the ball at quarterback, I don't know how effective, once the defense has seen a couple of RPOs, a couple of zone reads, they pretty much know, just go get the ball carrier. So I think that's, to me, if you're going to run the football, I certainly hope it's successful. As you pointed out, Alabama has not been the brick wall they have been in years past. But how are you going to go about running the ball? To me, that's going to be the best thing to look at.
How much of the passing game struggles would you attribute to the fact that they just haven't gotten any running game going?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some of that. I go back and watch the game films. I'm sure a lot of people do. I've been surprised a couple of times. I'm not in those meetings, so I'm not sure. But there are times when there are routes that are being run where you almost have 2 LSU receivers, possible receivers, bringing 2 or 3 defenders to the same spot the ball is thrown. And, we've seen that a number of times this year. So, obviously I think if you can't run the football, and that's what Alabama's going to try to do, that's what everybody's tried to do, is put all the onus on Garrett Nussmeier's arm to make decision after decision after decision and put the ball up. So, I think there's part of it, but I think some of that falls on LSU just not executing as well.
Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, is our guest. Blake Baker's defense struggled a little bit with the multi-threat quarterbacks. Ty Simpson doesn't offer quite as much of that, but he's been excellent throwing the ball. How do you see that matchup on Saturday?
Yeah, I think, much like what I want to mention with the offense, I think it'll be interesting, again, if Weeks is able to go, not able to go. I'm almost leaning towards the fact that beyond the tackles and the plays that he has the ability to make, I just think him getting everybody in the right spot is the most important loss when he's not out there. And, again, I think you can look at this season when he's on the field and when he's not. And, of course, as I said last week and the week before, he's the green dot. And when he's not out there, I've seen a little more questioning, some talking, hand signals, across the defense that we really didn't see a whole lot of earlier in the year. And so to me, the question is LSU confident enough that the secondary, the safeties and the corners can be on an island in an attempt to try to get pressure on Ty Simpson? If they've got to drop 8 and 9 in coverage, okay, well, that's good. But I think, Jam Miller and those guys might find some success they haven't found this year running the football. And this is a team in SEC play that while they lead the conference in time of possession, they're only averaging 119 yards on the ground. So they do it with a passing attack. But can LSU literally put their guys on an island and say, you got to lock down on a very good wide receiver core and see if we can't come up with some stunts to get, Ty Simpson off schedule, get Ty Simpson uncomfortable, move him out of the pocket, maybe get home a couple of times. That to me is the question. How much blitz will we see from LSU, and how much will be 4- and 5-man pressures with a lot of responsibility on the back end of this defense? And when you go back to early part of the season, I think we all kind of agreed after a couple of weeks that, yeah, it looks like the secondary can operate in that way. Again, how big a piece with Weeks not being there can they operate? We'll find out Saturday.
We certainly will. LSU and Alabama just after 6:30 on Saturday night from Tuscaloosa. You were in the PMAC last night. LSU set a field goal percentage record we found out earlier today. Good offense. What'd you see from courtside?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think you and I have talked about it a bunch. I think you got to kind of wait. And this is not an LSU thing, by the way. This is for every team in the country. I mean, go look at Auburn struggling to get by Bethune-Cookman. We saw TCU fall to the UNO Privateers earlier in the week. So, I mean, I just think it's hard to really, claim your stake, put your flag in the ground and say, this is who our team is. And that's not just after one game. I don't know if we'll really know who anybody has until the 1st of January, middle of January when SEC play starts, because I just think the roster turnover across the league, you just don't know who you are. You don't know who your identity is. But having said that, what I will say is that I like the size of the front line that LSU's been able to get with Mike Nwoko, obviously the return of Jalen Reed. I think Tamba is a good fit, again, to try to give you some defense out on the wing. And I think you got to have a solid SEC caliber point guard. And I've really, having watched DJ Thomas, at some of practice and some of the preseason, the look is there. And it certainly looked that way last night. He's got great command of the floor. He's got great vision. He's got a great handle. And I've asked a number of the coaches, including Coach McMahon, I said, is this a guy who would rather dish the ball than score? And they said, no, I think we'd rather phrase it that when the scoring opportunity is there, he'll take it. If it's not there, he wants to draw the defense and get his other players involved. That's an SEC caliber point guard. So all of those things check the box for me. Max McKinnon, as John Brady said towards the end of the broadcast, I mean, Jalen Reese looked good, the true freshman as a point guard, and I think he'll be an option as we move farther. But I like the handle that Max McKinnon, beyond just his shooting. I mean, he was also facilitating his teammates as well. I liked what I saw. Long way to go, and the verdict is way far down the line. But I like a team that can shoot. That's been a struggle for LSU, and I thought, as I've told you before, Hunt, you could put 5 guys out on the floor with no defense, and it's not going to be easy to hit 72% or 70% of your shots over a 40-minute span. So I understand Tarleton State is not a world beater, but by the same token, you got to put the ball in the cylinder, and I liked what I saw last night from this team. And I also say I like their want-to defensively.
Yeah, did a good job there. You mentioned Jalen Reese. I don't think that November's a big month for LSU. You're going to beat some teams really badly. He needs minutes because you can't ask De'Don Thomas to play 38, 39 minutes every game, and I think he's next up. So hopefully he can get some seasoning here while the competition allows for that so that he's a little bit more ready to go in December and certainly in January when conference play rolls around. Tonight, Frank Wilson show there from TJ Ribbs. What are you looking forward to hearing from the new interim head coach?
Well, I think we're going to talk solely about football, as I said earlier. I mean, that's kind of what I've been waiting to do for 8 to 10 days is like we do have a game. There's a very good team waiting on us in Tuscaloosa. Kind of what's the plan? And like we talked about earlier, I mean, I just get the sense being here on campus over the last 2 weeks that everything's on the table. There's nothing that I think they have gone and said, okay, we're just going to do what we've done through the first 8 weeks. I think everything will be looked at. So we'll kind of dig into that. I'm not sure how much that coach will reveal of the actual game plan, which I don't want him to, frankly. But I do want to get kind of an insight of what they've worked on. It's similar to what I asked you on Monday at the press conference. Like if it were up to you and you were coming out there to start from scratch and reset the table, like where are the things you would have spent extra time working on? Physicality at the line of scrimmage on both sides, running plays so that everybody knows where the blocking assignments are. I mean, what are the extra things they have taken time to work on? And then I want to talk to him about, the future as far as the program. And I mean like the immediate future, like with signing day less than a month away, first period. How are they protecting the team that's already in the purple and gold? And what are their plans to make sure they shore up what is a highly touted recruiting class? So, look forward to hearing what Coach Wilson has to say tonight.
You can hear it tonight, 7 o'clock on the LSU Sports Radio Network, Eagle 98.1 here in Baton Rouge. Frank Wilson Show from TJ Ribbs. Looking to crank up the weekend a little early. Get on over to TJ Ribbs and see the coach and Chris Blair at 7 o'clock tonight on Acadian. Thanks, Chris.
You got it, man. Have fun this weekend. I'll see you or talk to you Saturday.
We will do it. We'll be over at Coshada Casino Resort, Marlon Favorite, and myself pre- and post-game. So looking forward to getting over there and checking that out. For LSU in Alabama, hopefully win a few bucks on the tables if we can. We will see. We appreciate Chris for giving us a little time here on this Thursday. Shift gears over to the Saints. Luke Johnson will be with us coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carver and his team, phenomenal folks to work with in the insurance game. And they're phenomenal to work with because they're people, but they're also experts when it comes to the coverage side of insurance. You know, some brokers only have access to one program. They only have access to one carrier. That's not the case at the Highland Insurance Group. They're an independent broker, which means they've got contracts with dozens of markets. They can place your commercial insurance program where it needs to be. And they can do it at the right price with the right coverages. That's what they're trying to do with the Highland Insurance Group. You might have a renewal coming up. We know that hurricane season's now in the rearview mirror for us here, and that's awesome. It was quiet around here, and that's a very good thing. But you never know when the next one is going to come, and you want to make sure that your policy is ready to respond. So now that you can take a deep breath, you want to look at that policy, fresh set of eyeballs, get an audit done for free. They can tell you what you need to like about that and what maybe needs to change. Jonathan Carver and his team at the Highland Insurance Group are happy to do that for you. So check them out at HighlandIG.com. You can fill out that Contact Us page. They're service you here or anywhere in the state of Louisiana, based here in Baton Rouge. The Highland Insurance Group, online, HighlandIG.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday shows brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Talked a lot of LSU Bama today. Let's turn our attention to the New Orleans Saints to do that. Bring on our guy, Luke Johnson of NOLA.com and The Advocate with us on Thursdays on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Luke, how we doing?
Doing okay, my man. I'm doing okay. I might get to cover a win at some point in the next 5 years. I don't know, but I'm sticking with it just in case.
I love your odds in the next 5 years. I think they're great. I think you just keep your head down, you keep sticking to it. I think you got a shot over the course of the next 5 years. How much more difficult did Tyler Shuck's life get, if at all, on Tuesday with the trade deadline?
I mean, it's definitely like they're definitely worse off now than they were, at least in terms of their 2025 outlook. I don't think Shaheed is a perfect player by any stretch, but like he does do some things that very few guys can do. They're going to be they're just plain and simple not going to be as good without him in the lineup. But I mean, I think you had to make a move there. You probably weren't going to bring him back next year. Certainly not at what he's probably going to command on the free agent market. By the time he would be contributing to a potentially contending team, if things went really well, he'd be, in his 30s. And for a guy who is, kind of slightly built receiver whose game is completely built on speed, that's not what you want to do. So, I don't know exactly how they're going to fill his role. I don't think they can just one for one fill it. The deep stuff is probably going to go to Cooks or maybe Mason Tipton, and maybe we'll see a little bit more of Devon Bailey actually being in this offense. It's been like a question mark all season long, like why they cannot get him involved. It seems like there's plenty of opportunity to use a 6'5", 210-pound receiver when you got just a bunch of guys who are 6 feet, 190 pounds. But I will have to see it before I believe that is going to be a thing. We'll see. I mean, they're not going to be as good. That's just plain and simple. But fact of the matter is, they already weren't very good without him or with him. So, you might as well take your draft picks and move on and see where you go from there.
I would agree with that, and we'll see. They go next to Carolina to play the Panthers. Rico Dowdle's had just an awesome year thus far running the football, and the Saints have not stopped the run. It was brutal to watch up in Chicago a few weeks ago. How do they deal with that?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be where their competitiveness starts and stops in this game. I mean, at times we've seen them actually look pretty decent against the run, but it's like a week-to-week thing where you just don't know what you're going to get. Last week was another not very good game for them. The week before against Tampa wanted to run the ball. They tried. They didn't really have a lot of success, and you start to think maybe they're okay, and then they give up 175 rushing yards to the Rams last week, and you think maybe they're not. So, I mean, that's going to be the key part of this week's game. I mean, Dowdle, I think, as they've gone 4-1 in their last 5 games, has something like 650 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And the one time they basically made Chuba Hubbard the lead back again. They got blown out by the Bills, and they're like, okay, well, let's make Dowdle the lead guy again, and then they go out and beat the Green Bay Packers. So, I mean, he's really good in this lineup, and if you look at how this Panthers offense is built, I mean, they've got just a bunch of maulers on that offensive front who are not great in pass protection, but they're really, really good run blockers. And that's where they're going to make their money. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like this week. I don't have a lot of faith, but every now and then they can kind of come out and surprise you with a good game plan against a run. So that's going to be where this one comes down to, I think.
You're not really in a spot with the way this team has played to point out individual guys, but you're trying to find building blocks for some sort of future here. And you would imagine, because of where he was selected and where he is in his career, that Brian Brzee would be one of those. You're talking about stopping the run here. What do you make of where Brzee is now in year 3?
Yeah, I think he's gotten better against the run this year. He was really, really bad in his first 2 years. Where he was playing more of a 3 technique his first 2 years, and in this scheme, he's more of the 3-4 defensive end. He's been better where he's not going up against kind of your interior offensive lineman every single play. But I still think, as a player, he's really best suited to be like a rotational, passing downs player. He's I think a very good interior pass rusher, The sack numbers haven't really been there this year, but I think he's still impacting the game as a rusher. But still, yeah, that's kind of what he is. You know, he's kind of a one-trick pony, which is okay. I mean, like, it's hard to find interior players who are good pass rushers. So I don't even count that as a miss, but like, I think it'd be expecting too much for him ever to be like a true 3-down impact player. I think his role is going to be pretty clearly defined moving forward as like a situational pass rusher.
Same thing about kind of Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid. Now that you've got a bigger sample size of them this year, and they'll be facing a Panthers offense that doesn't throw it great. They've got some resources on the outside that they've spent with draft picks and free agency, but Bryce Young's numbers aren't very good. So how do you feel about the Saints outside in this game?
I feel okay. I think when we've seen them struggle the most, it's been against like the superstar receivers, and I think Teteroa McMillan is a really nice rookie for Carolina, but they don't have a lot of guys who really strike a lot of fear into you. So I think they match up okay. I think Kool-Aid is somebody who I'm still kind of bullish on in his future. He's had some moments where he's really struggled this year, but he's also had some moments where he's looked really good. And for a guy who's still very young, I think he's only 22 years old, 22 or just turned 23. There's enough promise there to feel good about him. I don't feel as good about Alontae Taylor. It has never really clicked for him as a coverage player, and really the times when he's really impacting the game is when he's making plays behind the line of scrimmage, which is great. But like the thing that if he's going to be making a second contract with the Saints, it's going to be for his coverage ability, and that's just been way too inconsistent. It wouldn't surprise me if he's somebody that they're okay letting walk in the off season and trying to get a compensatory pick back for him, because it just, to me, like, he's got to make his money as a coverage player, and it just hasn't really panned out that way, whether he's been outside or inside.
The answers to these questions raise more questions about getting all these draft picks back, considering the people that are going to be making them, and the fact that we go, well, they put an early pick on that guy, maybe, and they spent an early pick on that guy, well, maybe. Like, is that kind of where we are at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, right? When you look at why this team is 1-8, I mean, it's because all of their good players aged out.
Yep.
And they don't have enough young players filling those gaps. And, I think this new regime came in and it looks like they hit on some nice young players. I think Quincy Riley's played well this year. I still like Jonas Sanker, even though, he's had his ups and downs as a third-round draft pick, third-round rookie coming in. I like what we've seen in flashes out of Danny Stutzman. I like Kelvin Banks. We'll see what happens with Tyler Shuck. But this has a chance to be like a decent foundational class for them, which is more than you could say for like the last 5 years, right? They've had a lot of misses in the draft. I mean, we just saw them trade Trevor Penning for like a bag of Doritos this week, and he was a first-round draft pick. So, like, it is, if they're ever going to dig themselves out of this hole they're in, like, it's got to start there. They'll have cap space in 2027, but like, cap space is not, that's how you add to a contender. It's not how you build one up. You got to hit on the draft classes. And, so far, I mean, the results have not been good for this team. They just have way too many underperforming young players, or young players who just did not live up to their draft stock. So, I mean, they got to turn that around if they're going to have any hope of getting this thing pointed back in the right direction.
I'll admit, before I even ask the question, that I think I'm reaching here. We'll see what you think. But the sport does start with your division. It doesn't end there, but it starts there. And as we're looking at the Saints, we've always gone, and then you got Carolina, who stinks. Like, is there anything you can draw from this football game on Sunday as to where you stand with a team that's kind of been the punchline of the division for 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, look, Carolina, they're 5-4 right now. They knocked off a good Packers team. They blew the Falcons out of the water. They have done some nice things there to where you could say, okay, this is an ascending team under Dave Canales, right? So if you go in there and you get a win, and you look at the back half of the schedule, like they've got a lot of bad teams in the back half of their schedule. Like, you could see an avenue for this, being okay. Like, maybe this is kind of the jump start for the Kellen Moore era, where they start building some good vibes going into next year. So yeah, absolutely. Like this can be
a little bit more of a clear referendum on the Saints. But like, it's got to start at some point, right? And this would be a good time to do it. Like Carolina, while they're a winning team, they're just outside the playoff picture. They've had some real stinkers this year. I mean, I just referenced the Buffalo game. They got beat like 40-9 in that game. So like, if you can go in there and get a win, like you could start building some positive momentum for a team that really, frankly, has not had much of it at all. I was looking back at it today. Since December of last year, right, December 1st, they have 2 wins. They're both against the Giants. Like get something against a division opponent and start building some positive momentum, some goodwill. Like Kellen Moore desperately needs that right now. 1-8. Like I still think he's like got potential to be a really good head coach, but like you need to start showing it at some point, right? And the fans are really starting to kind of turn on him and everything here. Like something this weekend, just like some positive vibes going into that bye week with a lot of quote unquote winnable games on the schedule in the second half of the season. You can start something here.
Enjoy Charlotte, my friend. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, buddy. See ya.
You can follow him on Twitter at @ByLukeJohnson with NOLA.com and The Advocate. He's with us every Thursday covering the New Orleans Saints. Stuff's awesome. We appreciate some time on these Thursdays. Those Thursday shows are brought to you by Sagrera Farms. Come back, close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. Luxury brand, reasonable price. When I say luxury, like there are probably some brands that come to your mind. Genesis should be one. And don't think, when you think that, I can't afford that, go by and see them. Airline at PQ. Their sales staff is going to help you. They're not going to treat you like a customer. They're not going to be pushy. They're not going to upsell you and be distant. They're going to help you. And they've got an incredible line of vehicles to display. All of them. IHS top safety picks. So they're some of the safest cars on the road. Stylish, elegant, luxury. They're Genesis of Baton Rouge. You'll sense that from the people. You'll sense that from the facility in the showroom. And certainly when you get behind the wheel, you will sense it as well. Every new purchase, 3 years, complimentary valet maintenance. How nice is that? Just a nice little perk there when you drive a Genesis. They're on Airline at PQ. Find them online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport.
That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef, bringing our Thursday shows. Some of the best beef in the country, and it's just outside of Baton Rouge. Every single cow there at Sagrera Farms is part of a 3-year journey. It's genetically engineered, produced some of the finest beef in the country, raised on grass, finished on grain, 45 days, dry aged. It's a phenomenal product. And if you want some Sagrera Farms beef, you can find it 2 places: Sagrera Farms or Supper Club. That's it. So this holiday season, if you're looking for a gift or looking to treat yourself, go and buy Sagrera Farms. Get a whole cow, get a side, get a quarter, load that freezer up with some of the delicious, most flavorful, tender, well-marbled beef in the country. It's Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Call Sean, 719-1723. That's 719-1723. Sagrera Farms, bringing our Thursday shows each and every week. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Pairs quite nicely with Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. A Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. You can find it in the slim cans wherever you find your beers to bring to the house, to the grill, to the tailgate, to the watch party on Saturday. Pick up a 12-pack. I sent you there. It's Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, Hunt, let's start this off with the New York Post. John Heyman says the Cubs are the best fit for Alex Bregman this winter. Breggy bombs at Wrigley. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
I'll take it.
I knew Bregman was not going to sign a 1-year deal with the Cubs because Wrigley is really hard to hit in, and he was trying to get a big deal. Well, now he went to Boston, put up monster numbers. He's going to get a multi-year deal. Cubs have a rookie at third who's okay. Didn't have a great postseason. Bregman was had some solidity, and look, I'm all for it. I want an LSU Tiger there with the Cubs, and Bregman certainly that. So I would take that. He'd be a good player.
All right, Live Golf made the announcement this week that they are extending tournaments from 54 to 72 holes. See you at Live New Orleans. Take it or leave it.
Leave it.
Oh, leave it.
Leave it alone. Not even close.
You're not a Live guy?
Oh, you'll learn.
Okay.
I despise Live Golf.
Oh,
the
wow.
worst.
You feel like they ruined the game?
Yeah, they split it in half.
They split it in half.
Split it in half. Awful. I got friends that are going to go to Live New Orleans. It's an embarrassment. It's offensive to me that you would even go out there. And, of course, Live is doing – now, Live, L-I-V, is the Roman numeral for 54. They were cheeky with that, so we'll see if they change it to LXXV whatever golf. I don't think that's going to happen.
Can't sell
the
shirts
whole
like
thing's
that.
a complete and utter joke. Everyone involved with it is a rich joke, and – no, I will not be at Live New Orleans, and I will not pay attention. And hopefully they can't sign anybody else, and the whole tour goes away. But I don't have high hopes for that because they have endless money.
Yeah,
so
money
hopefully
talks.
that happens.
All right, the 2-7 Miami Dolphins are finally taking their season serious by removing the Papa Shot and various other locker room games out the locker room.
God.
Playoff push for the Fins. Take it or leave it.
Leave it. I'm sure they're 2-7 because they have a Papa Shot in the locker room. I'm sure that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not that their personnel is not good enough or the play calling is not good enough or the execution is not good enough. It's because they're getting buckets on a Wednesday afternoon at 4:30. That's why they're 2-7. Give me a break. These are professional athletes.
Yeah.
They're not good. Not because of the Papa Shot.
It's just too late, man. You're already 2-7.
You're treating them like high schoolers. Give me a break.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's something the coach would do when you come from a bad loss. Go ahead, take stuff away. So last night, Russell Westbrook made history with his 16 rebound triple-double. He earned him the NBA's all-time leader in career rebounds by a guard with 8,734. Westbrook also holds the NBA record for the most career triple-doubles with 204. Is Westbrook the greatest rebounding point guard we've ever seen? Take it or leave it.
And I guess you got to take it, right?
I'll take it.
Like, Magic went down and played the 5 in the finals one time, which
Did.
just tells you you're pretty good. But, I mean, he's got the numbers. He's got the longevity. Like, you always – I shouldn't say this. You generally remember greatness when you see it, and I was fortunate just to one. I haven't been to many Pels games just in my time down in South Louisiana, but I did go to a Thunder game when Russ played, and unfortunately, the Pels lost, but I did watch Russ go for 54, and that was when he was in his prime. He was in Oklahoma City. He was blowing by everybody. He pulled up at the elbow and knocked down a jump shot 13 times. It looked easy. It looked like it was in a pickup game, and. They just appreciate greatness time and times. At this point, I don't care if the Pels lost that game. It's more that I got to see Russell do his thing that day. And he's one of the better point guards in the history of the game. I think that's true.
I don't know. You can't deny it. 8,734 rebounds is insane by a guard, and that's it for Take It or Leave It.
Take It or Leave It. Presented by Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer. Fun show today. A lot of LSU Bama talk. You can find that at Hunt on LSU. Talk some Saints Panthers with Luke Johnson. Chris Blair was along with us earlier. Joe Gaither covers Alabama for Bama Central. So all that on demand wherever you find your sound. You can go check that out. Search Hunt Palmer Show wherever you get your podcasts. That's it for us. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further. You're back tomorrow for a Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassion.